That's it from the side, ref.
Welcome back to another episode of In From the Side, and according to Masahatman 12, we are the best show on the internet, best rugby show on the internet. And also we got a nice shout out from Trevor Man 8221. I don't know who these guys are, but they apparently like this show. And if you like this show, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, click the little notification button at the bottom of the screen and give us your support. Welcome back, Matthew Rhodes, my partner in crime.
Thanks, buddy. Partner in crime. It was good. Thanks to Mahasaman 12 and Trevor Man 8221. Our legion of fans is growing.
Our legion of fans, I think it's up to 16 now from 14. So we're growing slowly
but surely. We're getting there.
We're getting there. Lots to chat about, Matthew.
Yeah.
It was an interesting weekend. Only one international game and then a whole bunch of URC stuff that we're going to go through.
Different that there was only one international game this weekend, but it was a good game. It wasn't shoot the lights out from Aussie or Ireland on either side, but it was interesting as a spectacle to watch.
Well, it was interesting because after Scotland pummeled the Aussies, we thought, okay, now wait a minute, Ireland's, they're hitting form. There's going to be a long day at the office for the Australians, but geez, they pitched and they played bloody well. And I said it, and I'm going to say it again, Ireland were lucky with the win.
Yeah, they were lucky. I think the scoreline reflects that as well. It wasn't a huge difference, and it could have gone either way. Rub of the green one way or the other, but there's got to be a winner and a loser on the day. And so I think for me, again, we talked about this off air, but Joe Schmidt of the two coaches, Joe Schmidt was probably the happier in that, there was a lot of naysayers, a lot of negativity about the Aussies before they came on this tour, and they answered quite a few questions. And if anything, they now go back to Australia with some momentum and some impetus and a really good understanding of their fabric. To what they're playing and what they want to be playing in time and preparation for next year's activities and the Lions tour that's coming up soon.
Yeah, and if you listen to like ex-players, David Campisi's been very vocal about it. He's like, we are losing our DNA in rugby. We are losing the stuff that makes us exciting for people to want to watch because they compete with Aussie rules, they compete with the NRL.
Yeah.
So they have to play an exciting brand of rugby, which I think now they've started to do under Joe Schmidt, and they found that identity again, and it makes me really excited for that Lions tour. I don't think the Lions tour is going to be as easy as Andy Farrell thought it was going to be, and he's got a lot of thinking to do.
He's got a lot of work coming his way. Lions tours are always, exciting to watch, but for the home team that's hosting the Lions, they always get up for it. This is not a walk in the park by any means. And so I think the Aussies will, as I say, be leaving to go back home with renewed optimism, with a sense of vigor and determination, knowing that they got some good wins on the road, they've had a good tour. Now they go back and they put some real work in preparation to receive the Lions. And so if you're Andy Farrell, you're thinking to yourself, I need to go back and rethink a few things because this is going to be difficult.
No, it is. So congrats to Ireland on the win, but also congrats to the Aussies because I think 2 out of 4 running Ireland close, they can be happy with the tour. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2025. That's enough of the international scene. The URC was back in action. It was really great to see.
Yep.
We've got our provincial jerseys up. The Sharkies won, the Bulls won, so all in all it was a good weekend.
Good week for us.
Good week for
supporters.
us. Yeah.
Werner is our resident Bulls fan lifelong, and I'm the resident Sharks fan, which is always a good thing. But we are South African rugby fans through and through. So to see, especially for me, the derby, the Western Province Stormers versus Sharks derby is always a good day.
Before we get to the derby, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a certain birthday coming up on the 22nd of December.
Correct.
On the 21st, the Bulls are playing the Sharks.
I know.
So that'll be an interesting day.
As I say, a humdinger.
It's going to be a humdinger.
Humdinger of a day leading into a birthday. I don't know whose birthday it is on the 22nd.
some legend that talks a lot about rugby.
Talks a lot is right.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. But let's talk about the Stormers versus Sharks. I watched the Ireland versus Australia game. I know you watched.
I had them both
your
on.
team.
Yeah.
How did it go? Sharkies won.
I thought, look, again, great spectacle for the URC. Really good to see the Shark Tank just full to the brim. And it looked like one of those days, if you're watching it on TV, where you're thinking, I'm missing out by not being there. Like, it looked like a real festival of joy, and the crowd really got behind them. So I don't know if anyone who's watching has ever been to the Shark Tank. It's not just the rugby on the day, but it's the entire event. And it looked like, the crowds are really getting behind this team. Finally, it's been a bit of a journey, up and down. Couldn't buy a win for a while. A lot of kind of confusion because they had so many Springboks in the team, but they seem to be getting some secret sauce together, and it looks to be coming together, and the crowd are getting behind them. So a really great spectacle for the game. The Sharks, by and large, seem to be in control from the beginning throughout. The Stormers weren't at their best, and the Sharks were in control for a lot of the game. Some really good performances in the front. Nice to see Trevor Nyakane back as well. I thought the front row played really well. Interesting to see Sia Khaleesi at the back playing at 8. Yeah. But obviously your man wants to do a job and to make an impact and add value, across the board wherever he can. So if he's asked to play 8, he's going to do it. He was he led from the front, but also really good for his try. Nice little dummy. Sold it out wide, took the gap and scores under the post. So
Reminded me so much of Bob Skinstad's try against
100%.
Australia, where the dummy at 8 scored under the post.
The only difference, I think, is Bob used one hand to kind of draw behind his back and then go round, but very, very similar.
But
Sia had it in both hands,
Yeah.
tries to fling it out wide,
Same vibe.
sells the dummy, and then exactly the same. It
But
reminded me of the same.
he's so underrated as a ball carrier.
Yeah.
People don't give him the credit that he deserves. Sia with ball in hand is strong. He makes
dynamic.
his yards. He's
Yeah.
very dynamic.
I thought the back line for the Sharks played really well in comparison to the Stormers. The Stormers had some good moments as well. Warwick Gallant played well. Leon Zas, again, had a good game. Also really good for his try in the corner. But I thought on comparison, and this is not me being biased, really on the day, I thought the Sharks overall were better for the larger moments of the game. I thought Ethan Hooker had a really good game too.
Yeah.
Really good try that he scores in the corner. He had the most sensational try that was chalked off, which was a point of contention. Chituka coming back, trying to join the line to make himself available to receive a pass for, I think, Esterhuizen, who just rounded one of the defenders. The TMO and the ref thought that him backing into the defender affected the run of play. If you look at it, again, the Stormers fans will say he definitely did. Sharks fans would say Esterhuizen was already past him.
Yeah.
So contentious, but if you watch the play all the way through, it would have been one of the tries of the season. So
Mate, I watched the highlights and I thought, definitely top 5 of the weekend. And
you know what I mean?
they called it back.
They called it back. So
unlucky.
yeah, I thought he had a really good game. Mapimpi had a good game, but for me, stand-up play in the back line for the Sharks, and who got man of the match ultimately was Apelele Fasi. Great throughout, except for up to the 79th minute. He had a bit of a brain fart. He should have just let them score in the corner. Doesn't. Taps down illegally. They get a penalty try. He gets yellow carded. And made for a very squeaky bum last few minutes where, as a Sharks fan, you're thinking, here we go again. We're going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Mani Libok had been brought on, and Mani was doing Mani things. All of a sudden, your man is the most exciting. He obviously came on for Sasha, who had a good game himself, by the way. A beautiful drop kick.
Mate, almost from halfway.
From 50, between the 10 and the 50. And
that was beautiful.
Just effortless. He just drops it onto his foot, smashes it through with change, by the way. That was sailing through it. He could have done it from, his own 10 behind, and I think it would have been through the pole. So, really good drop kick. But Mani comes on, last few minutes, razzle dazzle. He ultimately ends up rounding after a fair few moves and phases. They go end to end, one side of the pitch to the other. Mani gets the ball, dots down on the poles, and thankfully, as a Sharks fan, TMO had spotted something. How he spotted it, I don't know.
Mate, they've got eagle eyes. But it's interesting that you say Mani doing Mani things. We've been we've been big critics of Mani's because he does erratic things, because he lets it fly. It is Mani doing Mani things because he scored a great try, only to be brought back for a knock-on that he created.
And you might think, if you're again being uber critical, you might say, well, he shouldn't have been there making that play
But he was.
at the bottom of the ruck.
But he was.
He was.
That's
so
that's the reality.
as a Sharks fan, we got away with one there. But yeah, I thought for all the rest of the game, the Sharks were pretty much in control.
Yeah, fantastic. So next up for the Sharks is Exeter in the Champions Cup.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do. Luckily, that game's at Durban. So it'll be interesting to see if the Sharks can continue this form, which you've now had in the URC. You smashed Munster, you smashed Glasgow.
Yeah.
Well, not smashed Glasgow, but it was a good win against a decent side. So there's a lot of momentum behind the Sharks, and let's hope it carries into the Champions Cup.
Good to see. And you know, I was watching Plumtree get interviewed afterwards. There seems to be a bit of momentum. There seems to be a bit of enthusiasm. The plan and the strategy and the kind of project that they have been working on and putting together over the last couple of seasons seems to now be finally taking shape.
Yeah.
And so long may this continue. As a Sharks fan, let's keep the wins going, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. In saying that, I think you and me can coach the Sharks with the talent pool that they've gotten. We should be successful. So,
yeah.
But good to see Plum like pulling the
Doing well.
strings and getting the team together. Next up on Saturday, directly after that, was the Bulls against Connacht. Mate, I don't know if you watched the game. It was a pretty decent performance by the Bulls. We led at 28-0 at one point, and Connacht scored 2 late tries. All-round performance, got the bonus point win away from home in a very greasy Galway. It wasn't easy conditions, and I think the team did really well to score 4 tries. Had a quick chat with Marcel Coetzee. He got a head knock. He went off for an HIA, but he's fine. He'll be ready for Saracens on this weekend, so good, that's good news. I think a couple of players that really stood out on the Bulls side was Sebastian de Klerk, who's always been knocking on the door, you know, and he's played a couple of games.
Good try.
Now I think he's the guy they might be pushing to cover for Kirtley. Kirtley's in Japan for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So Seb looks like he's the guy who scored the first try. Very good try. And another guy that really stood out for me was Kobus Wiese, Jasper's brother. Played in the loose forward. He usually plays at lock, but he was all over the place. Made huge tackles, some flying tackles. I think someone said it was like watching a Rugby 08, where you played on the PlayStation and the defender would just fly in for the tackle. He made a couple of those big ones. So he was really, really good.
I thought Ambrose Papier as well had a really good game.
Dude, decent player.
Good for his try too. He was quick out the blocks, and he kept the continuity going really well between the forwards and the backs.
But again, we talk about depth in South African rugby. He's not even part of the Springbok squad, but if he gets picked, you know, he's fine. They can play him. They can play him at 9.
Yeah.
He's a really, really good player. Another guy that continues to impress is David Krill. He can play pretty much anywhere, centre, wing, fullback. I think he had another solid game. Scored a great try where he dummied. He just bamboozled everyone. I think that Galway defender's still buying that dummy. He's still running around in Galway somewhere, trying to find that ball, which was really good. Some contentious points. I think the finger poke of doom. Mpilo Gumede. I mean, unfortunate.
Both red cards in that game I thought were soft.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. You've got to wrap, but what do you do when you're going in for a tackle and there's another person, a player in your team, and you're butting up together, and you go for the tackle, but you can't. You try and wrap the natural momentum of your arm. Is your elbow is going to come through? I don't think it was intentional, and also you've got to look at the degree of severity. I think, and it didn't look like it made much of an impact. But red card. I think there's been a few.
Red was harsh.
Red was harsh. Like, again, yellow with bunker review, or just yellow would have been appropriate, but they are clamping down on it, and I think sometimes it takes the enjoyment out of the game, because you think, you know, it's a contact sport. These boys are big buggers. They've been playing this their whole lives, and they're doing the best that they can with the instrument and tools that they've got. So I don't think your man was trying to elbow him in the face. It just ends up that way sometimes.
Yeah, but similarly with Gumede, like he was trying to the number 9 lifted his leg. He tried to just shove him away.
Yeah.
Finger in the eye. I mean, it wasn't on purpose, it was accidental, but again, he was always going to get blown up for that.
It was
There's zero tolerance for fingers in the face.
It was very soccer, football, premiership. I almost expected your man to fall over and hold his face and roll around. So there was really nothing in it, a bit of handbags, and they should have just left it at that.
Yeah, it is what it is, but that brought it down to 14 versus 14. Again, the Bulls did enough to win. 2 late tries by Connacht. Interestingly enough, I saw Jake White made a comment about Kane Moody. He says Kane Moody should stay away from the buffet next time he goes on Springbok tour. There was one incident where Connacht attacked on the left wing. The ball came out on the Bulls side. Kanan got the ball and he sprinted for the try line, and he didn't make it. They caught him, and you would think 9 times out of 10, him on form, he's gone. You would never catch him, and they caught him. The defense caught him. So I don't know. Maybe he's not. He played 1 game over the last 5 weeks against Scotland, so maybe it's just a little bit of match fitness.
Vindicated a few minutes later because then he goes and scores a beautiful try.
Yeah, no one was going to touch him.
Again, intercept, lots of grass to cover, and he goes over and scores.
Look, I'm a fan, so I'm not criticizing him, but he did seem a little bit slow. But I think it's just match fitness.
Sluggish.
Like he was sluggish.
Yeah. And I can understand why Jake's saying that, because he's a young fella. He's in the back line. He's tall. He's lithe. He should be untouchable if he gets a breakaway because he plays that position of wing, and he just seemed to look laboured.
Yeah.
For that particular moment. But otherwise, I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, they had a good game. Another guy who had a good game, but apparently won't be around for the Bulls next season, is Willie Leroux.
Yeah.
There's rumours that he was spotted at Bath, Johan van Graan's team here in England. And apparently he hasn't renewed his contract with the Bulls, which is sad. So we'll have to see what happens with Willie next year. But all I can say is where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, and I think, again, he's getting to the twilight of his career. He's got to do what's right for him. I think there's only so many decisions that are left in his arc of decision making to make about where he goes next and what he does to prolong his career for as long as he wants to or needs to. So I think he'll be looking at all the factors, and I'm sure he'll make the best decision for him and his family.
Yeah, absolutely, and we wish him well.
Yeah.
Great win for the Bulls, bonus points away from home. Their next game is against Saracens in London. We're going to go down to London to watch the game on Saturday. Looking forward to that.
We are looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day out. We're going to do some filming while we're out there, so we'll have a show for all of our watchers out there to enjoy the day with us. But going to get out there early, get some Dutch courage in us, I think.
We have no idea what we're going to shoot, but we'll do something. We'll do something fun and talk to some folks before the game.
For our South African viewers who all know this, we are wearing our K-Ways with pride because it is bloody cold in the Northern Hemisphere now. So going out to watch a rugby game is good commitment on our part. Thanks to Marcel for organising the tickets. What a legend, what a man. But we're going to go and support your boykies and watch some of our countrymen in the flesh trying to ply their trade here in the UK.
Yeah, there's nothing like some live rugby. But before that, we've got to talk about the Lions. They played Munster. It was a tough defeat because I think the Lions at worst could have drawn that game. They had an opportunity at the end where they had men over on the right-hand side. It was a sloppy ball that went out to Nohamba. He just scrambled to get the pass away, and Munster ran away with it. But a couple of 50-50 calls and the ball bouncing for the Lions. They were in with a shout, mate. And the Lions, I've said it now for weeks and weeks, they are playoff material. They're going to make the playoffs, I promise you.
Yeah, they're playing good rugby. And not to be disingenuous to Munster at all, but Munster are not at their flying fit best. They haven't had the greatest of seasons so far. They've lost a few games that you might expect that they would have won. So I think the Lions can feel like they let that one go because again, it could have gone either way, and they'll be sitting there in the sheds afterwards thinking, we could have had one, we could have taken it.
No, they could have, but a couple of guys really stood out. As I mentioned to you before the show, Asenati and Tlabakanye at tight head. I mean, he's a big man, but he puts in a shift and he moves around the field and he makes his tackles. I was really impressed with him. Jared Keynes is always really good. Nohamba when he came on. Our guy that we really like, we've punted him before, Henko van Wyk, scored a magnificent try, which we'll show later. Dude, honestly, it's like Donny Gerber vibes. That's what I'm getting from him. When I see that step, it's next level.
Off both feet though. Okay.
He's so good.
He stepped off both feet. I think I counted there were 8 defenders that he beat in order to get over the line. And that's just sheer grit and determination, especially because he's not a big man, right? But I think the if you see him over the try line, it's the eighth man who's lying on top of him, and he dragged the eighth man who was trying to pull him back over the line. So, fair play to him. He's quick, good hands, he's got good step, and he just has good vision to see the space because, he cuts in off the left, cuts through, and looked like he had time to make the right decision because he realized, actually, I've run into a bit of a hole here, dances back off the right, finds the space again. Good try.
No, fantastic try. Unlucky for the Lions. They could have won.
Yeah.
They play in the Challenge Cup next. I think they play the Ospreys. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do in Europe, although it's in the lower league. So good luck to Cash van Rooyen and the Lions. We are rooting for you. And hopefully we see
Wishing them all the best.
Hopefully we see someone like Henku Venter in the Springbok jersey sooner rather than later.
We've called it a couple of times this year so far. We think that he's a future Springbok for sure.
Absolutely.
Very difficult given the boys around him in that position. We talked about it heaps. He's going to have to continue to play outstanding, but I think on the basis of what we saw in this try, if he can do that and replicate over and over and over, like we said before with Rusty, if you're playing and you're a player in form, you're playing well, he's going to pick you.
Yeah. And then something that I spotted on the field was Sean Penn playing fly off for Munster. He took a kick at goal. I don't know if anyone else saw that, but dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Robin Wright was not in the stands, unfortunately. Long-time fan, no longer.
Yeah, spitting replica of Sean Penn. Anyway, great win for the Lions. Like we said, Henko van Wyk scored a fantastic try. There were so many tries from the English Premiership and the URC. Over the weekend, we debated about it, we discussed it, and here's our top 5 tries of the week.
He's having to concede 10 kilos on this side. Ferrari lets his scrum off, move it and use it. And here comes Evray. Stavile hurdles one. Can't get the ball away, but it's still there for the home side. Good work from Owen Watkin, the defence captain, doing his job and more there for his side. Tipperick staying firm. Again, that ball out the back. Again, a little dab through from Prisciantelli. Is it going to work? It is! It's that man, JC, again.
Clear out, got his hands back in there. Great steal.
Clear access!
High one for the Lions fly half. There was contact there from McCarthy. Play on, says the referee. Back from Jack O'Donoghue. This had nice hands from Burns. That wasn't easy. I could tell he was down on his shoelaces. Farrell trying to get the hand free.
It's again that opportunity though. Munster with the turnover, and there's no one in the backfield for the Lions, but Munster not really spotting the space.
I can tell you that Volhunter is down the fly half, so they're down to 14 at the moment, the Lions. And here's O'Donoghue out to Abrahams. The two wingers might combine here. Abrahams still on his feet, back inside. Beautiful pass. Shane Daly, who's only just on the pitch, and that is his first touch of the game. Not a bad first touch.
My words, Munster keeping the ball in the hand.
Right to Edinburgh all day. Edinburgh penalty coming. Tui Pelotu wriggling under the first tackle. Now Price, Darcy Graham is through one. Isakor gets back, there's Ali Price. And that changes the momentum, and Edinburgh needed it. What an important score from Ali Price.
Cowan Dickey. Too many white Leicester shirts there. Curry. Oh, he just popped it up and he gave it to the new man, who gives it some welly. And look at Parisi, and Parisi, if he gathers, will score. Oh, and he got the ball and lost his feet. And Sales defends back in time, but still, Kata. And then Stewart! By hook or by crook. Tigers score.
Oh, what a first impact.
John Ryan into the brick wall. Out from Mangavel. To Richard Lee, he can't handle it now. The space on the left-hand side here. Can the Lions take advantage? Out it goes. Shorthand here for Henkel van Vick. Inside the 22. Look at the step. And the up, bumping away. The Lions almost at the line. Oh my God, what a try. What a score that is. Barry Murphy.
Absolutely.
That was our top 5 tries of the week. Hope you enjoyed that. Which tries do you think should have made the list? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Another one of our features is the MVP of a weekend. Again, this was a really difficult one to pick because we know Henku van Wyk had a good game. Apelele Fassi until he got a yellow card. He was in contention. But Matt, who was our MVP of the weekend?
MVP of the weekend, there were some great games all round. And also a lot of tries. A lot of you, I'm sure, especially with the Quins Bristol game, it was a try fest. You'll be shouting your boys' names. And we try to pick who was the standout player across all competitions that we're playing on the weekend. For us, it was Bernard Janssen van Rensburg. He was sensational, played an interlink game, was instrumental in a couple of their tries, and got a fantastic try himself on the day. Again, maybe an outside pick, but for us, across the board, he seemed to be the one that had a lot of impetus in his particular team. So we wanted to give him a shout out to that.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I don't think it's an outside pick. This guy's been solid for Bristol for the last couple of years. I think he qualifies for England in the next couple of months. And
Be interesting. Yeah.
There are a lot of ex-players that are punting him. There's a lot of people that are saying Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence have had their chance. They're not performing, and that they want Janssen van Rensburg in the England side. So I did ask him. I was lucky enough to quickly meet him and had a quick chat with him at Twickenham. I asked him, would you play for England if you get picked? And he's like, mate, you can't say no to international rugby. I would always want to play for the Springboks, but if the opportunity comes and I hear nothing from Rassie, it's an easy decision, and we can't fault him for that.
And World Rugby needs that mullet playing on the international stage. So one way or the other, he either plays for the Boka, or we wish him all the best when he's playing for England if he gets selected. But for this weekend, he is definitely our MVP. He stood out in the game, and as I say, he played a great interlink piece in terms of their line, but was fantastic for his own try. So I think all round, he would stand up.
Mate, he played for the Leopards in South Africa in junior rugby, I think in the Vodacom Cup. So that is a Potch mullet. Yeah, thing of beauty. I love it.
Potchefstroom.
Great. So that's the show for today. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Next week, it's Champions Cup. We're looking forward to it. Sharks are in action. Stormers are in action. The
Lots
Bulls
of
are in
rugby
action.
all round.
It's going to be epic. We will keep you updated. Again, go and subscribe. Follow us on all the social media channels. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. Share this with your mates and give us your thoughts in the comments section.
A lot of activity on the socials this week. 1 or 2 videos in particular talking about World Rugby and the fact that they're using their blind Labradors to make their votes. Got a lot of traction. Lots of people liking that video. So if you are into that sort of thing, please go and like it. Please go and share. We really appreciate all the attention.
Yeah, no, we appreciate the support, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next week.